What's going on, everybody? Hope you have an amazing day. If you're checking this out live, welcome. If you're watching the replay, congratulations on opening up your mind to check out something new. Every single day we're learning a new lesson. We're becoming aware of something bigger than us. We're seeing the bigger picture. We're zooming out, we're zooming in. And I'll be honest, it's been a little bit since I've done a live. Lately, I've just been feeling more of this call to consistently show up more, speaking out on certain topics. I've kind of been, if you haven't noticed, I've been a guy that kind of looks back and watches everything, weeks, months, and years. I start observing things. I start connecting dots. I don't really speak out much on those specific coincidences and concepts, yet I want to come out here and share with you guys some little insights that I've been getting lately and some things that can help you. The best part of social media and what we do and what we live in this world today is that the very thing that could help you, the very thing that empowered you, inspired you, improved something in your life can be a gift for others. And a lot of us tend to just write it in a journal, right? And then put it on a piece of paper or put it in a cabinet or a binder, and no one gets access to it. And I get the personal things. Keep things personal. That's your decision. That's your choice. At the end of the day, though, remember your mess is someone's masterpiece. And the things that you're going through in life, good or bad, could be someone's medicine. It could be someone's blueprint. It could be someone's guide, and you wouldn't even think twice. Whether you're watching this, you're in a home, the very things so many of us do every single day. For other people, it's their bucket list. It's their prayer. It's their manifestation. It's their journal. It's what they call in. You're actually living it, right? So what I want to cover and talk about here, just two simple things. One, right, is our personal accountability and choice, which is something that's been stripped from us since we were born. Ever since we were born, the things that we could make a choice on, we didn't even know how to speak, right, up until the first couple years of our life. Our subconscious mind hadn't even been developed yet up until 7 years old. By that time comes, we're going into school, we're going into preschool, we're going into kindergarten, we're going into grade school, then high school, middle school, then college, then a job, then a partnership, then a family, then salary, and then you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, in this confusion, each and every single one of us, despite the background, despite the upbringing, whatnot, we've been unconsciously stripped of our ability to make our own choices. So we depend on external things, right? And when you have a dependency on the external world, right, rather than a awareness or a clarity on the internal world, well, you can start becoming manipulated. You can start getting persuaded, taken advantage of, have people have expectations and attachments, put you on pedestals, and all of a sudden claim you as a guru or the end all be all. And I'm not here to say you can't be any of those things. You'd be whatever you feel called, right? You'd be anything you wake up and you decide and choose to be. The choice or the question is it your choice? So what I posted earlier today was just talking about personal accountability. I'll share from personal experience. Most of my life happened to me. It was just a series of events where I would constantly be reacting to. All right, I was constantly pointing a finger. I would constantly, look the other way or compare, compete. Whether that's considered a healthy or not, that's not for me to say. That's for you to believe in. I always give that back to people to empower them that these are just crumbs, experiences, things I've gone through that can definitely help you, maybe in some way. And if not, all good. That's what's so cool is you can simply jump off, unfollow, delete, and go on your merry way. At the same time, it could open up a door and an avenue for much bigger things that you're calling in. So when it comes to our choice, right, we've had this stripped from us, whether it's telling us what to do, telling us what to eat, even telling us what to drink, telling us what to feel, telling us how to live, how to act, that it's only this way, it's only that way. And we've lost kind of this awareness, and we've gotten lost in this all or nothing approach as well. You guys ever notice that? You go all in or you're completely out. Just all in on something? Nope, nothing new. Nothing new, avoiding all these truths. Finding yourself in the middle ground is what helped me tremendously. Finding the middle ground of neutrality, finding a space where I can literally pause right here, sit back, and I can observe what's unfolding. I can watch the conversations happening. You can see with your mind the things that are unfolding in our reality. Because the way society has been fabricated, and when I say fabricated, it's just how our minds put society together. They put all the bits and pieces together in real time. That's how powerful your brain is. It's been rigid. It's been stuck in a box. It's been linear. It's kept us from seeing a bigger picture, kind of like, the horse with the blinders. Okay, if you guys didn't know, like in race horsing and things like that, they put blinders on the horse because horses, their eyes are on the side. They see all sorts of things. Because if you start paying attention to the horse in the next lane, you may trip over yourself. If you're constantly watching someone on TV and you're giving all your power to, well, you may beat yourself up. So there's a time for blinders with focus, direction, and clarity. There's also a time for expansion. This is the zoom in and the zoom out lens that I talk about so much. And how it's a beautiful dance that can create clarity for you, right? That can propel you further into making conscious choices, right? Even unconscious choices, right? Where there is a higher power making the choice for you, like choosing to have your heart beat, pump your blood, osmosis, mitosis, cellular respiration, so many amazing things that happen within us, right? So, what happens though, if people start losing their ability to feel that they can make a choice in life, they start feeling that they have less power to speak, that they don't have enough to share, or it's not perfect, or the dots haven't connected yet, or you're waiting for that divine timing, when in reality, could it be all these external factors telling you that, rather than you choosing that? There's the things that I need, I want, you should, you need, you have to. I just simply choose. I'm choosing to do this. I choose to do this. I'm making this happen. And you learn along that process. So when we can start taking personal accountability, which is very daunting, and I'll be honest, I didn't have much personal accountability in my life. I would blame external things, like I said. I wouldn't take things and hold myself accountable. I would project out that someone was doing a certain thing to me when in reality, I made the choice to be in that person's life. I didn't know boundaries. I wasn't aware of how to communicate up front in person. I would always kind of beat around the bush, so to speak. And so what you're looking at too in the world is a lot of people aren't taking things into their account. They're blaming things. They're pointing fingers. They're shaming and tarnishing and living out of fear and stress because their choice has been taken away. They've never made it perhaps a choice in their life. Choose to go to school. Did you ever choose what you wanted to study? Did you choose the sport you want to play? Or did people do that for you? Did teachers choose it for you? Did parents, as much as they love us, choose that for you? Because if you have allowed these patterns to progress, and this is just basic stuff, right? If you allow these patterns to progress of people taking your choice long term, well, you look in the world today, there's a lot of people who are 30 years old, 40 years old, 50, 60 maybe, yet internally they're still 5. They're still 7. They're still in high school internally. They've peaked once they graduated, and they've closed their mind off from learning more. And just in that moment, their power had been stripped. Why? Because not many people do that. And it's easy to follow the herd. And it's also just as easy to go the other way. And I know a lot of us are choosing to go a different way. We're choosing to create a path that's unknown and scary. And I'm right there with you. Half the time I don't even know what I'm doing. It may sound like it. I just speak from the heart. And I realize that me speaking out here to however many people seeing this is more important than me just writing in a journal, keeping it in my desk. Because I would do that for a while. But I remember my mess was someone's masterpiece. My trials was someone's triumphs. There's so much amazing dialect we can create. And that was the first thing I wanted to touch on is remind yourself how many times in your day, in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in your friendships, in your business, in your community, in your finances, in your lifestyle choices, do you actually choose? When do you actually choose? You may be eating something right now. And you don't even know that you're eating it because you're listening to me. You may have bought something from the store that in the moment sounded good, but really, well, why did I choose that? And we can take that power back very, very simply. And it starts with the words that we speak. So that's very, very important and something I want to just touch on as well. And the second part really is getting and zooming out and seeing that how much of society is based off this whole notion of problem, reaction, solution. Now, obviously, if there's problems in the world, people like entrepreneurs, visionaries, creators, inventors, they have solutions. That's great. Well, what happened is they took those, right? They took those two and they separated it. And in the middle, they got a reaction out of you. That's the emotional, spiritual, mental, psychological part that many of us have learned how to manage, navigate, and deal with. So we skip it. All right, so you have problem, reaction, solution. The reaction is where all the money is made. The reaction is where all the power is created. The reaction is where all the control manifests. Because a simple problem and a solution is just question and answer. That's basic, simple. You spread it out, you add a middleman, the middle person. Well, you now have a model, a business model that they can actually feed on through energetic responses, emotional responses. That's how mainstream media works. They get you to respond a certain way. And in your response, you're triggered. And in that trigger, your nervous system gets stimulated. And when that nervous system gets stimulated, certain blood flow changes, your heart rate changes, your pupils dilate or expand, your adrenals squeeze, your kidneys dilate. All these things happen in the body because our body is a natural mechanical response. So that's where people are getting stuck. And we get so caught up in chemicals, we get so caught up in chemistry, formulations, anatomy, all these things that we bypass the physical or the emotional. We bypass the response. We bypass the psychological aspect. We bypass the spiritual aspect because that's all woo-woo. That's all weird stuff, false light, this and that. Again, guys, labels are a left brain trait. And I'll say that and I'll look this right in the camera. Labels are left brain traits. They're nothing more than a label because anything outside of this present moment is a story. What happened to you yesterday is a story. What happened to you last year on your birthday, that's a simple memory and a story. What happened 2,000 years ago is a story. Now, sure, there could be proof that that existed 100 years ago. You're just going to believe a digital film. Sure, there can be proof that it happened 5 years ago. You're just going to believe in a digital photo. That's why things are changing right now, because we're going to an age of a quantum universe where, well, the holographs and all these things, the holograms, the NFTs are going to be actually storing a lot of information, right? So these stories manifest into timelines. These timelines manifest into ups and downs, into all sorts of hiccups in one people's life. And then as soon as something comes in that challenges it, well, it's very easy to simply point a finger and not know any further. So that's how society's been set up. That's one of the many ways society's been set up. Problem, reaction, solution. Ask yourself, how am I reacting to things in my life? And if you're reacting to a lot of things, ask yourself, where can I be proactive and be a professional at being proactive? You're creating that activity first. You're setting yourself now for later. Many people from health, education, awareness, spirituality, business, finance, literature, artwork, anything. Many people, many, I say it not all, many are living in a reactive life. And when you're reactive, you're controllable. When you're reactive, you can be manipulated. Because in your reaction is where they actually got you. In your reaction is where they take advantage of you, of us, me. So you can look out in the world today and you can ask yourself, where am I overreacting? At what point can I slow down? Because when you slow down, your choices get clear. When you slow down in your life, thoughts become clear. When you slow down in your life, your body talks to you even more clear. We've lost all this though. We've lost this concept of our body talking to us because of how society has set us up our first 7 years of our life. To think of the external rather than the internal. To think of life happens to you rather than for you. It's just all been flipped. So they say watch the water in many quote unquote drops. I won't say that here. I know how the game is played. Watch the waters, watch the reflection. Simply watching the reflection. What you see in others is a simple reflection in you. And you guys know this to be true. I'm just happen to be saying it on an Instagram live rather than you saying it out loud. But that's the beautiful part, because I am you and you are me. And we're no different, in fact. 99.9% of us is the same. Aside from hair, skin, and eye color. Colors. We're all the same. The problem, reaction, solution has divided us. The reaction has separated us because we get triggered, we lash out, and then an emotion of a low vibrational magnitude manifests into the collective. The best part of it, though, we get to change it all. Like, we actually have the ability to make that change. And before you try to change anyone else, which I learned early on, when I say early, these last couple of years, because I consider this whole awakening a part of a new life for myself, I couldn't even save the closest people for me. As much as I tried. Everything that I could offer. The closest person from me is no longer here. My father. So I know what it's like to try to change people. I know what it's like to try to save people. And it drains you. And those that are open and receiving and willing They're waiting for you. So if you're watching this right now or you're watching the replay, I just want to remind you as I wrap this up, you have choices. Okay? All the mandates and forced things are nothing more than a babble, speech, getting you to react a certain way, getting you to respond a certain way, because they know the way you react and you respond will dictate your next move. When you have this awareness, you already know the next couple moves. So how do you respond and how do you react? You already know. When you're proactive in your life and you're setting things up early and you're saying no to things and you're pulling back and slowing down, no need to react as much. You don't have to respond so intently. You can smile and wave. And in that smile and wave is healing. But you can't find a scientific paper for that. Mainstream media is not going to talk about it, and probably your favorite IG page won't mention it. So ask yourself, where are you responding? Where are you reacting in your life? How can you change that response and reaction to being a professional and proactive? And you could be a beginner and be proactive. That's the beautiful part. That's the power they don't want you to wake up to, because they're dependent off your reaction and your response, your triggers, your projections, your assumptions. That's what keeps this whole matrix thing going. And remember, before you try to save anybody else, don't even think about saving. Just think remind. Remind yourself. Remind yourself, remind others. That ripples out more than you can even imagine. Okay? So I'm committing to you guys. I'm going to be doing more of these lives. It's been a minute. And time is now. I've observed enough from the sidelines. And when I say sidelines, I know I'm pretty active on this platform and my Telegram and all that. I haven't even started. I've yet to truly speak what I've been feeling. And it's taken me about a year to integrate all that I've processed while losing my best friend in the physical. It's taken over us a year. Almost a year still just to process this. The best part is, once it's processed, we're ready to rock and roll. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the love and support. I'll definitely keep you guys posted. I have more to share, and we'll keep driving and make this a consistent thing. So much love, everybody. Have an amazing night. Take a deep breath. Slow down in your life. Everything's good. A lot of amazing things are happening. Only part that isn't happening, perhaps, is your reaction, your lack of choice and awareness to the knowledge you have within yourself. It's just that reminder. You guys are awesome. Have an amazing night.